we're going to go over how you would remove and replace your serpentine belt tensioner on your 2019 Nissan Sentra with a 1.8 motor, right? So first we're going to pop this cover off, and this is just held on by the grommets, and we just pop and we'll remove that cover. It gives us some greater access. So to get to this tensioner, it's right down here, and that's the tensioner, but it's in a very tight spot. There's really no tools that you can get on it. So we're going to remove this motor mount. Now I've made some marks on it, so when we put the motor mount back on, we can line up the marks, use a permanent marker to make some marks, as well as on, I've got a mark here and here and one on the back for reference, so that I know where this all goes when we put it back on. You're also going to want to support the engine with a jack and a wood block, and try not to put it onto the oil pan, because what we're going to do is we're going to remove this motor mount, and we're going to raise the engine a little bit, and we're going to kind of push it to the back to be able to gain access to undo the tensioner pulley. So I have a jack under the engine and raised up, jack under the engine, wood block, and we're sitting right here on the edge of the engine to be able to raise it up after we undo the motor mount. So to start with, to undo the motor mount, we have 5 size 16 bolts to be removed up on the top here, and we've got one number 10 here, which is a ground. So we've got those 5 out. Now we have 3 more down here that are on this base of the motor mount that mounts to the car. With those all loosened, you can now pull this whole motor mount out and remove it, and we'll set it aside. Now we'll raise the engine and we'll push it back a little bit so that we can gain access to undo our tensioner. Okay, so why we hold, or if you had a helper, I'm going to hold that back there. It's a T50. So that's how you remove the tensioner from your Nissan Sentra 1.8 motor. And so you'll get a new one, and when you're ready to put it back on, this little tab here, you want to make sure you line up in a hole on the bottom there, and basically it's straight up and down. So Tensioner is going to sit exactly like this on the engine, and so you'll do the same pattern. So you're going to take it, you'll put it back on. You're going to have to, use your pry bar to get the motor back over there in place to where you can work on it. So that's all tightened up. Now we'll want to put the motor mount back on and lower the motor. So just line up your marks that you made on your motor mount over here, and then reattach that and tighten it all up. And then you put in your 5 bolts here, and may have to move the motor one way or the other and tighten those up. So we have installed our tensioner, tightened that, and then I've tightened the 5 bolts here on the motor mount. There's the 3 bolts on the other motor mount portion that attaches to the vehicle. 2 bolts there and 1 bolt in the back right there. So those are all tight. Last one, we'll put this ground wire back on and tighten that up. And this was just a number 10 millimeter